Welcome to Adventure in Art. My name is Ben Staley, your resident talking head. In this episode, we're going to talk about Lumix cameras and high-speed sync. I have a background in filmmaking as a cinematographer and a director, and I've been doing that for 20 years. So truth be told, I am most comfortable with constant lighting, or hot lighting as we call it. Even in my photography, that's what I prefer to use in most cases. But there's some real advantages and some things you can do with strobe photography, and particularly if you have the ability to use high-speed sync. It gives you an edge, it gives you creative options that you just don't have with constant lighting. What is high-speed sync? Well, it allows you to sync the flash at a higher shutter speed than you normally would. A lot of cameras just kind of out of the box with any old flash, they will sync at a 200 or a 250th, which is pretty slow. But say you want to shoot wide open on your aperture on your lens out in bright sunlight, well, you're going to need a much faster shutter, and high-speed sync allows you to do that. I'm going to show you some examples of some photography that I achieved using high-speed sync with this. This is the Westcott FJ400 and the FJ-X3m. This little combination allows you to do sync speeds up to 1/8000th of a shutter with Lumix cameras. Pretty darn cool. To my knowledge, this is one of the best options out there for high-speed sync with Lumix cameras. And for someone like me who does a ton of photography, but I don't work with strobes a lot, I actually picked this up and was able to figure it out in a matter of minutes and be shooting bam, 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 high-speed sync. And I've just really grown to love this little combination. And it's opened up a creative world for me that has been really fun for the last couple months. Let's just get right into a photo shoot. This is Jackie Ho, and she's a stunt performer and a martial artist here in Los Angeles. We're at the Sepulveda Dam. We found a spot here in the shade, and we are just going at it. It is so fun to photograph people that are highly competent, highly skilled, highly specialized. It's the funnest thing for me. This is totally one of my favorite sessions that I did all of last year. With high-speed sync, you can have a super fast shutter and you can actually minimize the ambient sunlight. This gives you creative opportunities that are pretty cool. There's a lot of videos online about this light, so I'm not going to get super into the weeds. If you want a deep dive technical walkthrough, somebody else can do that. I don't really do that on this channel, but here's what I like about this thing. It's so simple. You turn it on and it just works. And it's got, I've used a few strobes. I don't use them that often, but I just really love the LCD panel on this, and it's bright, it's in color, it's easy to see. Same thing with the controller here, just really bright, big readout. And I can control, you know, the flash power. It's just, it goes from 1 to 9 stops, and it's just real easy to dial it up or down right off of the controller here. Okay, enough fun. These controllers are universal. They work with Nikon and Canon, and I think you need some kind of an adapter or something for Sony, but they're universal. So if you get different cameras, you can use the same setup, and that's pretty cool. This is Alex just outside my studio, and now Alex is a model and an athlete. This is where high-speed sync really comes into play, and I am able to have a fast enough shutter that I make the ambient daylight in the background really minimal, and I can just isolate Alex really nicely. I'm shooting with a 50mm 1.8 lens wide open so that I can make the background go slightly soft, and this was a super fun session. Okay, this next one is a super good example of high-speed sync. Again, shooting in the middle of the day, broad daylight. This is 1 in the afternoon. The sun is coming beating down right on top of us. This is my wife, Danny, who has become obsessed with pickleball. She's actually in local leagues and does competitions and has a whole heap of medals. She's really freaking good. But I drug her out to this pickleball court, got a friend to serve her up balls, and I wanted to do some kind of commercial looking kind of action shots. Lights coming down kind of at an angle behind her and giving her a nice rim light. And what this does is it just makes the background go really dark and it really isolates her. Could not do this in bright daylight if I didn't have high-speed sync. Here's a session recently with Tamara, who came over from England. We're in a studio in downtown with this setup. This is probably not high-speed sync, but you know, I'm not constrained by shutter speed if I want to shoot wide open, and that's pretty cool. Here's Morgan in my studio wearing this cool chainmail headdress. I think there's actually going to be a whole video with this session at some point in a few weeks maybe, because we did some awesome work. Here are the images I captured with the FJ400 and just a simple umbrella over the light. This is kind of early in the afternoon, and Ezra is a model. He actually works full-time in Japan, sometimes comes back to the US, but he's got like a pretty banging modeling career in Japan, which is pretty dope. And we did a session. Actually, surprisingly, and to our good fortune, we had these super heavy moody clouds, and using high-speed sync, I'm able to crush it and have a super fast exposure to make those clouds even darker and even moodier, and then just hitting Ezra with a little bit of light as he moves around, and I just really love the way these looks. Got lucky with the clouds. Again, couldn't do this if you didn't have high-speed sync. Here's my friend Say back at the Sepulveda Dam. There's a whole video on this, which I'll link below if you want to see this entire session. But here's a few shots that you don't see in that video. High-speed sync. Could not do this without high-speed sync, making the background go darker. even in midday, and just drawing the focus onto say.
Amazing. You're doing this. It's all amazing. I'm gonna get closer now.
And here's Amar. This is close to dusk, but I'm using a really fast shutter here to, again, draw attention to her out in broad daylight. A video for this whole session is linked below if you want to check it out. We had a great time with Amar. I wanted to make this video because I think that this little FJ400 is pretty inexpensive. I think these are about $600. It's just a great option if you shoot with Lumix cameras or other cameras actually. This is like one of the most intuitive, simple to use little flash systems that I've ever used. I just really enjoy it. It's a 400-watt flash. They actually make a 200-watt too that's even smaller. And I had a friend that had one and I saw it, and I may be getting one of those because I think it'd be cool to have something even smaller and lighter that I could just put in a backpack. But these are pretty cool, folks. I appreciate you watching. Hit me up below with a question if I didn't cover anything. Again, I don't get super technical on this channel. I'm more about artistry, creativity, adventures, of course. That's what the name is. But, you know, this is just a tool that allows you to do some different creative things that you couldn't otherwise. Sometimes we need specific gear to achieve a certain kind of look. And I just found this to be very simple and easy to use and elegant even. So that's it, folks. Get out there, make something. We'll see you soon.